there. Welcome to a new episode of At the Catch. Today we have a guest that I've been very excited to meet. And just to give a little background, I know all of us have been on Facebook and we go to the Ergatta group and what are we going to see today? And there you'll see this bright smiling face. And in my head, I said, there's Roberta C. Pemberton. She's happy as ever. And I reached out to Roberta. I said, I've got to meet you. I got to know your story. And I'm excited that now here we are. Welcome, Roberta.
Here we are. Here we are. Thank you for the welcome.
So I won't refer to you as Roberta C. Pemberton anymore. I'm just going to go down to Roberta, but that's just how my brain works in everyone's Facebook profile. So, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. Where should I start? I am originally from Miami. I am a retired Air Force veteran of 22 years. I have two daughters, 27 and 34. I have been active forever. I think the military actually kicked that off for me, to be honest. In the military, you have to do the physical fitness test. It was once a year that we had to do this run. And that was it for some years. We did that. And unfortunately, after understanding that some people just don't exercise at all until they're prepared to do that one test, in that 1 year. Mm-hmm. And so unfortunately, they started having fatalities. That was occurring. So it implemented the program where the military started at each organization implementing exercising being done on a weekly basis, so that when it was time to do that test, people would already have been working out. Mm-hmm. And that was a good thing. That was a great thing because that actually jump-started me into exercising more. I learned a lot about different aspects of working out, step aerobics. I did that. I dabbled in that. And then eventually I dabbled into running. Running became my thing. So I'm just happy to still be here and still being able to run at my age.
Well, and I couldn't help notice, but from a lot of your posts, you're wearing T-shirts from 10Ks and half marathons, and you run the whole gamut.
You noticed that. Yeah, I quickly grab, most of those shirts that you get from running the races are sweat wicking, mm-hmm. And so I usually grab one of those to use when I'm rowing. And I didn't even pay attention to that people actually would see, I would just take the selfie, mm-hmm. Go from there. But yeah, I've done numerous 5Ks, numerous 10Ks, numerous half marathons, and I won't say numerous marathons, but I've done enough of them. And I've done actually one ultra.
Wow.
Yeah.
And ultra being, was it 50K, 100K?
Yes, 50K. I did. That was the equivalent of 32 miles. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's something else. And you weren't, you didn't run in high school?
I did run track in high school. I ran hurdles. I was never a distance runner. Never. I never would have thought myself to be a distance runner. It was something that just happened. A friend of mine that was in the military with me, she asked me to run with her. She was doing 10 miles that day. And she just wanted some company. And she said, just run as far as you can with me. She said, I just wanted to have someone to chat with along the run. And I said, sure, I'll try. The longest I had run by that time was probably maybe 4 miles, 5 miles. But I ended up running the entire 10 miles with her. And there began my entire running career because she introduced me to running races. I knew nothing about that. And that was back in, okay, I'm going to date myself. That was back in maybe 2000. Yeah, maybe 2000 or maybe a little before that. It was a little before that because we entered my first 5K in 1990. I want to say 90. I can't say 98. My daughter was born in 1998. So it was after her birth. So it had to be probably around 2000. So about 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what led you to rowing?
Well, what led me to rowing is I do believe in cross training. That's a very important aspect of running. So there was this organization that has I guess, I don't know, can I name the organization?
Yeah.
Like the Orange Theory
Okay.
has the run, row, and the regular free exercises that you do. So that introduced me to rowing. And I realized that I really enjoyed it, but I
Hmm.
didn't enjoy paying the price for the workout. So I decided, you know what? I said, I think I want to get back to rowing. And I decided, you know what? Let me do some researching. And so I researched for, I'd say probably about 6 months. I researched regular rowers, but I researched more so water rowers. And I really loved the look of the water rower, and I just felt like it gave the more authentic feel
Hmm.
of actually rowing, even though I've never rowed on open water, but I did like the feel of it and the sound, the whooshing of the water. That really captured me. So I began my search, and I saw just regular water rower, and then I also saw ergatta. And so I said, ergatta, let's look a little more into that. And I fell in love with the look. The look right there was like, I was like, whoa! I was like, this looks like it for me. And then did some further research into it, the specifications, the different models, um, how would it fit in my room, how is it put together? Because it's just me. So I said, would I be able to assemble this myself? And I decided I'm going to do it. And I chatted. I did chat with one of the representatives, and she was great. She answered all my questions. We actually set up a call to talk about it some more. And I said, I'm going to do it. And I bought my first ergatta last year I think it was August. And don't laugh, Brian. I bought it in August, but it took me until November to actually get it together and put it together because it's on my third floor. So when it comes in 3 boxes, as you know, and the one big box, I was like, there's no way I can get that upstairs. I can't get it upstairs. And so I had to hire someone to come and take it upstairs for me. And then it took me maybe another 2 to 3 weeks to decide I can assemble this myself. And so I took it apart and took it out the box and put it together myself. And here we are.
Very good. Very good. So, like you mentioned, running's your number one sport.
Mhm.
And so, how do you think rowing has helped your running?
Ooh. Well,
Or has it? Right? That's
for one thing, I learned a lot about running that the shoulders are a big deal with running. They really help to propel the arms, because arm movement is key.
hmm.
So I knew that I wanted something that could give me a total body workout. I believe in total body workout. I didn't like going to the gym and working on upper body today, lower body tomorrow. No, that wasn't for me. That's one of the main reasons I decided on a rower, because a rower it's a full body workout. And in using the legs, it's a different way of utilizing the legs when you're pushing off, but you're still utilizing those muscles that are important for running.
Hmm.
So for me, since I've been rowing, I took some time away from the pavement and I did a lot of rowing, just rowing. That's it. So when my friend asked me to go for a run, she asked me to I think we were going to do like 6 miles, and I hadn't really been running. So I thought, I don't know how this is going to work out. Am I going to conk out after like 2 miles? What's going to happen here? And I let her know. I said, listen, I've been running. So eventually we got out there to do the 6 miles, and I was fine. I was fine. Everything was great. So I attribute that to the rowing. The rowing has kept my legs in good shape, and cardio, because I do some of the workouts. When I look at the workouts on Ergatta, I will look to see if it's conditioning, endurance, race, so a lot of it I was doing was conditioning. I was changing a little bit with the conditioning and the endurance. So I still wanted to get a cardio feel, building up a sweat with the rowing. So I think it definitely has helped keeping me running pretty well.
Okay. So what is your balance like now between running and rowing?
Ooh.
Are you half and half? You're still a
Ooh.
runner at heart and rowing just as a supplement?
Well, it's hard. It's really hard because there are days where I got to get on the rower. I want to get on the rower. And I'm trying not to have where the rower is taking precedence over my running because I still have races. I'm still racing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a race coming up in September, Cottonwood. So I'm like, all right, you're gonna have to figure this thing out here. How do you want to do it? So I think what I'll do is end up running four times a week and then rowing. Now I have read up on how to balance that rowing and running, and I found that through the research they're saying you can run and row on the same day if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably, you should run first and then row, not
Okay.
row and then run. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'll definitely let you know because I figure that may be something I do because the one other thing I love about Ergatta is that the workouts can range from 5 minutes, you know, to well over an hour. So it's really up to you. You know, if you want to go for a 5 mile run, you can still come back and maybe just row for 5 or 10 minutes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's completely up to you, but you can definitely get it in.
Sure. Even using it as a cool down, just,
Mm,
I mean, I like to just get on the machine and just exaggerate every movement, and you're just really stretching yourself out.
yeah,
You
yeah.
stretch your shoulders and your back and get some, just get
Now,
some blood flowing in the legs.
when you do that, do you do the open row?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
I'll
a
try.
I'm a big fan of open row.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always think about, rivals. And so when you're a rival with someone, you can look at their last, I think it's 6 workouts. And if anyone's a rival of mine out there and you look at my workouts, it's probably very boring because you see open row, 60 minutes or so.
Mm,
And during that 60 minutes, I add some variety and I have, you know, when you start, you're going to go X minutes. And I
mhm,
know at X minutes, I should have X meters. And it's
mhm.
all just something from habit. And sometimes, well, I'm a little behind. I'm going to push that. And so
Mm,
I have to ramp it up to get my distance in the certain minutes. And if you look at the chart over the whole, they'll have a lot of variation. And
yeah.
one thing I really like to do is just have the chart go up and to the right the whole way to where when you're at the very end of your workout, you're going as hard as you've gone.
Hmm.
And then I don't ever look like you do when you take your selfies.
And I have no idea. I think it's because most of the time when I do take the selfies, I'm doing it like maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning,
Oh,
because I get up that early before I start my commute. There's a few times I've done it after work. I've done it after work. But because I get up so early, sometimes it takes a lot more to do it after work if I don't do it. Um,
sure.
but it's still great that it has, I just love the different times. I can do 15 minutes. How am I feeling today? If I want to get 15, or I think I want to do a 5K. I did my first 5K on there and I was like, wow, 5K on the Ergatta is definitely different from a 5K outside.
Yes.
Very different. Very different. I was truly spent after that 5K. Totally.
Okay. Well, the next question is, have you challenged yourself again to repeat the 5K and beat yourself?
Not yet.
Not
I've
yet.
I've
Well,
even done some of the races. Now the races have been very good. I will not forget my first race because I had no idea what I was doing. And all I thought it was race. You say race to me, that means, go hard, just go hard. Oh my gosh. It was very eye-opening. Yes,
mhm,
very eye-opening. I was like, okay, no, we can't go hard. You can't go out the gate hard like that again. Even if it's just 500 meters, doesn't matter.
yeah.
But I've gotten a lot better with understanding, look at the length of the race and, pace,
Pacing, pacing, pacing.
pace yourself.
Well, now they have the new robot feature. That's, before I would do a race and I would just race myself, where, the previous time I've done it. And that's neat because you're actually racing your previous race strategy, where the first time you might have gone out too hard and you died at the end, or the next time you did reverse splits. Well, you do robot, and you set a pace, and he's slow and steady, or fast and steady. He's steady, and so it's neat because then you can pace yourself against that guy. That's not going to be you can't get more steady than a robot.
So he's not racing you.
Well, he's in your race, but you set his pace at, whatever the split time you want to beat. And so that's very valuable. And that, that if you set a 2-minute split, he's going to be right there at 2 minutes. If you take a break, let him get ahead, well, then you have to dig in to catch up with him. So it's a neat little feature. It's simple, and it's a neat thing that they've added. So
I'll try robot.
Yeah,
let's try that. What's the longest you've rode?
The longest I've rode, and this is insane, I went 100,000 meters in a day. 6.5 hours of rowing. In
one sitting?
More or less. I mean, I had to get up a couple times due to nature, but it was, I kind of did it an hour at a time. I'd row for an hour, thereabouts, get up, walk around, have some water, get back on. But the total time rowing was 6.5 hours, and I probably did it in about 7 and change elapsed time.
Wow.
And it was just a challenge. I thought, why not? Let's see how it goes. But it was a day. I have not done, I've done the marathon a number of times. So that's, 42 plus. And this is also insane. I also do a warm up before I do a marathon. And it's crazy to say, well, I'm gonna row a 5K before I run my marathon. But really, if you're going for time, you feel better after you've warmed up. And
yeah, so I understand that.
Just like with running, you always go for a couple K warm up before you run that 10K.
Yeah, I understand it now. I used to think that they were crazy out there. I'm like, why are they running? They're expending all this energy. They got to go run 26 or even 13. You got to go run. What are you doing?
You've got to heat up the engine.
You warm up already before you run. So when the gun goes off, whatever you want to say, you're already warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. That's amazing.
So I've thought about doing 100K again, and this fall, if it's a nice day outside, and I get my outside machine and do that. It's not for everyone. Don't recommend it. But it's, you have to push yourself.
You do.
And it may not be 100, but a marathon is a big push for a lot of people, and it's quite an accomplishment if you do more door or just do whatever. It's fun to challenge yourself.
Okay. We'll see.
So let me ask you this. Do you talk to your friends and family about rowing a lot?
I do. I let them know that this, because a lot of them think that this is all I do as far as running.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've talked about running so much, and they may say, well, hey, I haven't heard you say anything about a race lately, or did you go anywhere this weekend? I'm like, no, I haven't run. I've kind of got a new gig that I'm doing, and they're like, well, what's that? And I'm rowing. I've been rowing a lot. A lot of my friends are asking me that. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm rowing a lot. Or they'll see me post, because you can post, even on Strava, I'll post that I've done my indoor rowing. And I'm like, what is that? They're like, what are you doing? What you mean rowing? Going to the gym? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to the gym. I'm at home. I'm like, oh, they're like, okay. Yeah, so I do tell them that I'm rowing now. Definitely.
Yeah. What about the Facebook group? Do you have, you've made friends on the Facebook group. Do you have rivals through the Ergatta system?
I think there was one individual that wanted to be a rival. I don't know. The name is escaping me, because, a lot of times we have to talk in the name codes, what our names are on Ergatta, because we have no idea. But then you do get to put that name to the face in the group, But there's one that has decided to be my rival, and I think it's a guy. I think it's last name might be a Brew. I forget his handle. I did get to meet quite a few during the what was it, the race to Mount Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it. It was good.
So what is your rival name?
Hershey's Kiss. Hershey's Kiss. Yes, I actually have a tattoo of a Hershey's Kiss right on my shoulder. My aunt used to call me her chocolate drop. Yeah, that was her name for me, of course, with the complexion and everything. And so I thought, oh, okay, chocolate drop. What's like a chocolate drop? I was like, Hershey's Kiss. So that bears the name Hershey Kiss.
Very good. Well, you'll have some new rivals requests, I'm sure, after people see this.
Yes, I'm sure I will. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we head back to the boathouse and wrap up our conversation today, do you have any goals with rowing that you're going to pursue in the next year, multiple years? I mean, you don't have any huge mileage goals. I mean,
let's see.
Definitely not
the marathon. Definitely not the marathon. I'm not going there. Let's see. 250. I'm close to 250 meters now. 250,000. I don't know. This is July. I know a lot of folks are talking about getting to the 1 million. I don't know if that's feasible.
Sure it is.
Now in December, but I would love to hit that, because I don't have a lot of races set up for this year. I think I just got this one half that's in September. So I'm thinking let's try to push for that 1 million.
Yeah.
This year. All right. Well, I'd love to do that.
Your first million's the hardest, and then they just roll after that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna take you up on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. It's great meeting you, and for everyone else out there, hope you enjoyed meeting Roberta as well. And now you know the person behind that big smile.
Yes.
Thanks, and we'll see you again on At the Catch. Bye-bye.